Coming to you from the endless library, where every book is read and every spoiler discussed. Join us as we dig into the lives of fictional people who cannot defend themselves. This is the SideQuest Podcast.
I read this several times. That was why at first I was like, I thought I wasn't going to like the story. That and I was influenced. I had seen the movie first. So I've been previously influenced by the movie.
There's a movie?
There's
I mean,
a
I'm
movie.
not surprised.
The plagiarism aspect is not even a huge part of the movie. So it's totally different story. You take away the
that's
plagiarism,
disappointing.
it's not the same story.
Yeah.
It was more about getting back at his wife. The ending's
Good.
different too. The ending's different. You don't really hear too much of Amy in the story to be super sympathetic towards her. Not too much because it's mostly about his descent into madness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's more of a victim. Where in the movie, I feel like she kind of deserves it for what she did. Well, not like she did.
Did she do something different?
No, but you see so many flashbacks. He's like plagued with cheating.
Oh, does it give us any flashbacks of what he did before that?
In the movie, no, not really. You
Okay.
see like a little bit of happy moments of them together, and they do have like a 1 minute discussion, not even a whole minute, about the fact that one time he took inspiration from someplace. And he goes, that was only one time. This is not like it. So that's the only time they ever discussed it, which in the book, a big deal is that he never told her, which I guess we can kind of bring up. You know, Amy kind of has a little bit of that psychic, a little bit of the powers. Well, she says she calls him because she's a feeling that something's going on.
That's true, yeah.
She gets those feelings.
Yeah, that's another King trope.
Yeah, someone has to have magical powers.
Yeah.
A little bit psychic.
Yeah, it's usually a woman or a minority. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's kids.
I heard it's usually a black guy.
Yeah. And I don't know why that specifically, but it's just a King thing.
Morpheus.
I'm here for it, but goes back to the trope conversation we had. King has certain things that he always inserts into a story. Good,
Yeah.
bad, or indifferent.
Beautiful.
Well, folks, if you haven't guessed it, Jess is on.
Hello.
They didn't know.
I'm here.
They thought it
It's
was
Jess.
Jonathan.
Throwing his voice.
Yeah.
Well, if you
Deep
listen to
voice.
some of the intros that Slava said we were going to use, where I was fooling around, you might actually think that it's Jess and I are one person.
I like the singing that I heard on the last one. I hope that makes it in.
Oh, it makes it in. Definitely.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Which part? Which
It's
was
9
I
o'clock
singing?
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
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 Shooter,
Shooter.
walks in. something like that.
That's right. I thought it was the Roxy's on a vacation far away.
Oh, that's
that one.
better. That's really good.
Yeah.
It had a
Gets
cheer.
that.
I thought it had more of a Cheers vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Piano Man
Yeah.
John Shooter one did.
I was in a bar in New York once, and there was a guy there that could have been the poster child for this song. He was an old man, probably in his 80s or 90s, dressed extraordinarily. I don't know how else. It was just so much panache, right? Everything was ironed right. He had a nice tie. He had this flashy suit, and it was this light blue color. And he was sitting there, and he was about 2 feet away from me, and he was drinking gin and tonics. And I was
In the morning? Were you there in the
well, obviously, yeah, because I day drink all the time. No, it was at dinner,
Slava, it's okay. This is a safe place to share those things.
and it
with
was
the
a
audience.
Saturday night, and it was just
It was a Tuesday night?
this is a moment. Yes,
This is intervention.
Yeah. It's
is
not
your
actually
intervention.
Secret Guard. It's not Secret Guard and Secret Window.
it's secret intervention.
Secret intervention.
Screw you guys, you don't know me. You don't know what
there.
it's like.
You couldn't see him? He was there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we cut that out.
Future Slava. Put all of Jess's inflammatory comments in and all
Yeah.
of the private
Oh,
public information.
the address.
Yes.
Doxer for no reason.
Yes.
I don't know your address. I just get here.
Well, I don't know your address, but I know where you live because I picked you up and dropped you off once
Yeah,
or
it's the
twice.
same thing. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know the road we're on.
Same. I live here. I don't know the hell the
What
road is.
what town are we in? I don't.
I don't even know how to spell his last name, so
Yeah.
Me either. I can't say it either.
neither can I, Jess. Neither can I. And then he
guessing
realized
no
that I
one
couldn't.
Says the
because I-
man who's named after a cartoon character.
Yeah. So, look, we wanted people to know that they knew us.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes for the win. If you know, you know.
No.
I don't. I don't get it. I'm in the dark. You'll explain it to me later.
That sounds great. So, Secret Guard and Secret Window. Last time we discussed plot and characters and King's writing, and we wanted to save talking about themes today with you, Jess, because we always feel like you have some great takes for the overarching theme of books. And then just before the show, you were telling us also that you watched the movie. I was going to say video, the movie.
So went to Blockbuster, rented
Yes.
a videotape.
It was a VHS. I know this movie.
Did you rewind?
Did you rewind? Yeah.
I forgot. Oh no.
Ugh. Extra fee there.
I remember those days vaguely.
Amen. So Jess, what themes did you, well, first off, have you read this before? Did you enjoy it?
I've read it at this point, I think 4 times. The first time I read it, I don't really remember. I think it was like shortly after I had seen the movie, and the movie did make me not like the story as much. And I feel like I kind of unfairly judged it for it being another Stephen King, writer down on his luck trope, which I think I had more of an issue with before, where now I can like look past it. Because I definitely appreciate his writing more now. I like it more than the Langoliers.
Really?
Yeah, I love the kind of like the spiral that you kind of go along with his mindset with him. You go crazy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a tug of war. Because like at one point I feel like, because I've read it more than once, and I know you said there was no foreshadowing in it, or you didn't see foreshadowing.
I didn't see it. It doesn't mean it wasn't there.
It is there. Hindsight's 20/20. When you go back and read it, I think there's plenty of foreshadowing. Not like outright, but like his descent into madness. At one point, I think we know before he knows, at least we figure it out before he figures out that he's Shooter. And then it's like a tug of war with his mind. So I liked that part of the writing a lot. I like very internal stories sometimes. It's not, because like I said, he's the main character. We unfortunately don't have a lot of empathy or feelings towards the other characters. Amy's the closest to like another full main character. But there's not a lot of characters in here. It's mostly Mort Rainey and Shooter. But, 2 guys, 1 guy, Fight Club style, like you guys mentioned.
There we go.
Yes, which I checked. He did not steal that. And see, that's the thing. That's not plagiarism. When 2 guys, or 2 women, whoever, have the same idea, so similar. It's such a similar idea, but the execution of storytelling makes it a completely different story. Because there's so many parallels between Fight Club and this. The more he sleeps, the more he's, John Shooter. How long is he been sleeping that long? He has a fight with himself. Other people note it. Well, not really for long because it's a shorter period of time. Other people, know him as him. He doesn't know that they're not seeing him with another guy, except for the weird ending part where the ghost, aspect is brought up, which is why the story's so different. It's more supernatural. I mean, it's supernatural. Fight Club was not supernatural at all.
Just anarchy.
Yeah, but like, and I love like I guess you guys have to say multiple personality, a split psyche from I think what we assume is that the trauma is from just being cheated on, instead of that being like, maybe whatever they call it on those crime shows, like not a trigger, but it's like a trigger, the thing that causes the person to finally lose it. Yeah, motive. I'm thinking of another word that I heard on like Criminal Minds that I can't.
The inciting incident towards the spiral.
Yes. There's always like some trigger that brings it out of this type of personality type.
The trigger towards madness, you could say.
Yes.
Or trigger for madness or descending.
Yeah.
The descent into madness.
Well, we all have, I think, that in us.
Speak for yourself, lady.
I feel, yeah. Oh, no. It's you repressed people that don't act crazy. That like that's the thing. You repressed everything. That's why you went crazy. But I think, well,
what are you saying about me?
Not you. Sorry, I was going back to Mort.
Oh, okay.
But no,
all
you maybe, probably. It's probably any day now.
Thanks. Perfect.
Same thing with Slava. It's not going to be me. Like I seem like the crazy one. If you met us all in a room, I think I seem crazier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Slava because he's like you guys are both ambitious, go-getters, have a full schedule. You check things off lists. I don't.
Well, Slava goes postal in his video games, so that's where he lets it out. I'm saving it up for one big pizzazz.
Yeah.
One big Pazuzu.
One big shootout.
You just call
Can
me
we
John
say that?
Shooter.
Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know.
John Shooter.
Oh,
yeah,
what was my other
my name?
And I love the whole. Not really. I guess it's a kind of a theme. This is kind of like the Fight Club. He had a life that he didn't earn, and he burnt it to the ground.
Yeah.
Partly literally.
Yeah.
Just like Fight Club. He just ruined every aspect of his life because of what he did, the guilt of what he did.
It honestly, so last episode we talked a little bit about H.P. Lovecraft, which I want to bring up to you as well. But now that you mention it with the guilt, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Crime and Punishment, which is the worst book ever written.
Oh, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I
I haven't
wrote an
read it.
article like that.
But
just
now,
to-
because you said that, like I have it in my room. I don't know if I want to read it because
You should read
No,
it.
no,
That's
you
just
should
a
read
rage
it.
bait. That's
it's
it.
just, yeah.
that isn't, you don't really feel that way?
No, it's actually excellent. What I decided, though, and actually I should just send you the article I wrote. What I decided is that the reason I felt like I hated this story was because of my personality conflicting with the personality of the character.
Yeah.
And so I had trouble relating to the character, which is why I titled my article, Crime and Punishment is the worst book ever written.
Yeah.
Jonathan relates to the guy that beats the horse to death. That's more of his cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm a one and done kind of guy. Like, I do it, I forget that it happened, and I move on.
Of all the landladies he's killed, not even a shed of guilt.
Well, joke's on you. I've never had a landlady, only landlords.
His guilt will manifest as another person, probably,
That's right.
in time. It's
So-
probably coming out now.
That's
What
right.
he's thinking.
So, Jess, have you read Lovecraft at all?
No, I tried to finish, and I can't pronounce it, and I tried
The
to
Call
practice.
of Cthulhu.
Yes, I'm how many pages in? I'm 5 pages into it. I have one of those really cool Barnes and Noble edition books that's like a really pretty Tales of Lovecraft.
Oh, you should send
And-
a photo of that. That
Hold on,
sounds
I have
cool.
it with me. I'm going to show it to you. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Let's see it. Is it just Cthulhu, or is it the Necronomicon or the Omnibus?
I have this.
Oh, that's cool looking.
That is cool looking.
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, I got to get the sticker off so it looks better. It was not $24.99 as it says. It was definitely on sale for like $12.99 or something.
Oh, yeah. A must buy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, you know those Barnes and Noble, they have the beautiful, like really
Yeah.
cool, magical looking editions. I have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. That one I actually reread. It is weird reading such a
I love
pretty
some
copy.
foil on pretty
So-
copy books.
Yeah, but like I always have issues reading pretty copy books. Like I'm gonna ruin them. Oh, I like that one. This one doesn't have like drawings in it. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
is cool.
The basement flooded recently, and I just haven't put the books back yet.
How did the basement flood? I know it's
It was raining, and the foundation's not great.
Oh,
But I have a small set of really fancy books from Brandon Sanderson from his Kickstarters the other years,
yeah, that's beautiful.
and they're all foiled and very pretty.
Yeah, I have like a shelf just for like these really like cool editions
I need to do that.
because you know the rest of my books are just like beat up and look horrible.
Yeah, paperbacks for
Yeah.
daily readers. Yeah. So anyway, you're 5 pages into Cthulhu, and
I like it so far, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't have. I was like hoping to read more of it this morning, but then my daughter ruined it, interrupted and
she
wanted.
spoiled the whole story for you.
No,
She's
no,
like,
she
this is what happens in Cthulhu.
Yeah, she didn't read it yet. I wouldn't recommend this. I might recommend, if anything, by Stephen King, a short story book, and it might be this one. This one she might like, but horror. I don't think she'd read it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one for the length, and two, and I do want to bring this out because I don't love it in stories. Animals getting hurt, getting killed. It bothers me. I get why they do it.
Mhm.
Well, because I guess if anything, it throws you off. It throws you off Rainey being a potential. I think that's the only thing it could possibly do. But it's so much worse when you realize it is more. Because he killed his cat who loved him. He held him in his little arms. He trusted him. It's like, you know, that story, like I probably cried in it when they killed the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Mhm.
poor dog still wagged his tail. Oh, that kills me, that part. I'm glad they didn't go into such great detail with it. I hate. I mean, I love children a lot, but like something about reading about animals is just somehow hurts me more. I think maybe because animals never, in my opinion, you know, my dad actually argued that cats might understand their mortality, and there's no way. I don't know how he gets that. I don't get his argument, but like, you know, our animals, they don't think the way we do. Where like even a child has more understanding of life than, you know. So this poor, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm getting upset. That upset me in the story, and it upset me even more when I was like, that killed his own cat.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely in movies and in books, animal abuse or violence towards animals,
Hate it.
I hate it more than I do against even children.
Yeah. The baby thing. Yeah.
Yeah, curb stomping babies won't upset me as much as an abuse of a dog.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
Jonathan, on the other hand, was turned on by both.
What I write in my journal is for me, my therapist, and apparently you to read.
You bring up your journal. So. Is it a really girly journal, like how you see people with journals that, like, they have, like, a lot of they have more drawings and, like, little decor things? It's almost like a scrapbook.
Does Slava love me or does he not? Does he love me?
Yeah.
Does he not?
Heart.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just a moleskin where I,
Oh, yeah.
slather my thoughts against a blank lined sheet.
Like a fecal Picasso or a fecal Jason Pollock. Only in words.
Who hurt you, Slava?
It can't be that bad. Nothing can be bad as Pollock's art.
Well, a conspiracy theory says the CIA commissioned Pollock, who was like a no-name, ridiculous person, and they saw his art and they did an experiment of sorts, and they commissioned him to paint more and then used marketing and I guess psyop tactics to make him popular.
I buy it. There's no way. My dad's like, well, they're kind of interesting when you look at them. No, they're not. They're a giant mess. I've had this talk with several people. Modern art just is bad in general. Just awful.
I like a very small amount of fine art. I mean, fine art. Modern art.
Yeah.
I like fine art just fine. There's some modern art, and I couldn't name you anything right now, but if I see it, I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's the kind of modern art that's kind of funky and cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just like, I don't know what you're doing.
Like, I love photography. Like, modern photography,
Yeah.
is still good. I mean, some of it's weird, but, like, still can look at. But not modern art. Like, we get it. You don't have talent and you want to be famous. Art is not accessible to everybody. Like, I can draw. I mean, I'm sure if I practiced really well, I could get very good. But I mean, I'm not Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Like, I just know it.
Future Slava, can you cut our comment about Stephen King being a terrible writer and pair it up next to Jess's, we get it, you have no talent and you want to be famous, and just put that as the intro?
That, you know what, though? With some of, what is it? You Like It Darker?
Oh, man.
Is it You
Yeah.
Like It Darker? Some
Yeah.
of that I didn't like at all. And I could say some of those stories could just burn. Stephen King just wrote them for, he had to, probably had a deadline coming up.
Contract obligations.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to the Secret Garden, Secret Window here. Some of the themes that we see in the book: split identity and dissociation that you started talking about, guilt and denial that we also started talking about, the dark side of creativity, which we've not talked about.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Revenge and self-destruction, touched a little on. Isolation, unreliable perception, and madness, which I do want to get on maybe near the end. So which one of those do you want to start jabbering on about here, Jess?
I feel like my question that I talked to Slava about would kind of tie into me a little bit with the creativity. How did you phrase that? Dark side of creativity.
The dark side of creativity, yeah.
Which version of the story did you like better? Mort Rainey's or John Shooter's? When they compared the little snippets of it.
It's a good question. I'd say probably Mort's.
Really? That's
I think so.
controversial, I think, because I picked Shooter.
And it's a standoff.
And what do you, in Slava, what do you said?
I think I like Shooter. When you and I talked, Jess, Shooter's kind of stood out as a little bit more gritty
Yeah.
in some ways. And I thought that was cool.
I think it was meant to be even like maybe a little bit better, like slightly better, because that would go with the story. Like, he stole his story from kind of a caricature of the guy who was, I can't remember the name of the guy that he did steal the work from.
Yeah,
But he was like a Southerner, a guy that, he wouldn't expect. And this guy's a guy he wouldn't expect.
Oh,
And
yes.
So like, this is like, I feel like he would give his enemy the better story
That makes sense.
to mess with his mind even more.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes perfect sense. I like
So
that
it has.
take.
So Shooter has to be the better writer, even though you like the other one better.
Hey, fair enough.
Okay.
When I think about the dark side of creativity, I think about those who, in the past, in our real world, were creatives but also possessed by something unusual. I guess I'd put it on a scale. Something from unusual to sheer madness. And I start with unusual because I think of Salvador Dali, who I actually really love a lot of his work.
Yeah.
And the history of how he came to be. He started getting into the surrealist movement, found a way to make his way to the top by befriending people, then started what would you call it? A rivalry by creating a nemesis with someone who'd never heard of him by releasing letters that he publicly wrote that guy, which then threw him into the spotlight. So Dali is unusual, but then I think of the dark side of creativity with people like Edgar Allan Poe, who like married his sister or cousin or whatever it was, people like H.P. Lovecraft who descended into madness. I would even say that Philip K. Dick was, kind of in the mid to leaning towards darker side of creativity with some of the stuff that he was getting into. Sometimes we read things and we go, whoa, that was pretty deep and dark. I always like to take a step back and go, did the author show this to his mother or like a family member and go, hey, what do you think of my writing? And they go, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is a rape scene, right? Like, or, this is killing an animal, or this is, a pedophile, something just the dark side of humanity. And they wrote it and they're, selling books on it, right? And I think about like what it takes to step into a place like that without, to bring it back to the story here, without descending into madness yourself.
Yeah, because it's a little bit like method acting in the sense you have to get
Great
your head in
example.
that space. Like, because I write poetry. That's the thing I consistently write. I want to write other things, but like Slava said, to sit down and do it. I haven't sat down and done that. I have sat down and wrote poetry because I don't journal, but I get very upset sometimes, and I'm like bawling. And sometimes it's what deters me from writing is that I get so emotional. Because a lot of it's on grief and stuff, and a lot of the stories that I get inspired to write have to do with grief, which is one of the hardest topics, one of the hardest themes to have to sit there and you not say stew's not the right word, but you kind of have to seep yourself into it when you're writing these things. So kind of like the way a method actor would go crazy, but like how you just named a bunch of people, I can think of a ton of Sylvia Plath and Sexton.
Oh yeah.
Virginia Woolf, and like Sylvia Plath's book, her magnus opus is The Bell Jar, which is semi-autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends up being completely not in real life. We all know how she died. Anne Sexton also killed herself. Virginia Woolf, yeah, she killed herself too. Anne Sexton was writing as an assignment from her psychiatrist. So there is that thing, like sometimes I feel like these people, they are plagued with madness, but they do some of their right when they're out, a little bit out of it. But does it affect them? Keep them in that kind of tailspin, because no one's going to read Sylvia Plath happy poetry or stories,
right. Yeah.
Or we like the dark side and kind of have to connect with it to tap into that.
Why do you think we like the dark side so much?
Probably because of death.
Yeah, maybe it's a way of coping with inevitable death.
And it's kind of like a freedom. When you're crazy, you can completely be yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know if have you ever gone a little crazy? And I was probably like most myself, not in a good way.
For simplicity's sake, I'd probably say yes, a little bit.
Yeah. Everybody's gone a little crazy. I've gone pretty crazy, not full shooter crazy. And that's actually like
I hope not, Jess.
Probably wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Gonna get a knock on the door soon.
Woo woo.
Yeah. But it's a fear of mine, for sure. This is a fear of mine. I descent into madness.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because you never know you're going mad.
Yeah. And then it's too late, and then you have to give into it, like in the story.
That's actually a question that I kind of regularly step back on top of to ponder is how does one manage to keep themselves from deception or madness? I think it's interchangeable in this question.
A routine.
I haven't found routine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I think that's what they teach you in a psych ward is a certain routine, having a support. People keep you grounded in reality.
And so Mort
doesn't
he
have
lacked routine.
Anything.
He lives in isolation. Even the townsfolk only kind of just know him as this, la-di-da celebrity.
And he's kind of revered as being like the great writer. That probably doesn't help. Like I feel like it goes to his head a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure.
Amy, said he had another love, and she couldn't compete with her, which was the work. But I wonder, like, he always wanted to be a better writer, and he didn't like that he knew he wasn't the best writer.
And Amy also mentioned in that conversation that, or maybe it was him reflecting back on the conversation, that she would get annoyed when he would be stopped by people and he would give autographs. And he enjoyed that so much, but for her, it was almost repulsive. She didn't want all that attention. She felt like it was too much.
Yeah.
And that made her withdraw also.
Yeah, he was buying something in the store, and the cashier is like, I have all of your books. Can I mind if I get an autograph? And then he was thinking about how it bothered Amy and how like he liked it. But he also, like, one of the first things he said was how it would be easy for Shooter to find his house because so many people would boast that they know him. Kind of like, oh, yeah, he lives on Tashmore Lake. So he definitely likes the fame, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
I have a favor to ask you. If you like what we're doing, the simplest way to support the show is to hit subscribe. In return, we'll keep leveling up, we'll listen to your feedback, and read authors that you suggest. And of course, we'll take side quests along the way.
I do agree with you, Jonathan. That part is kind of off topic. And it's on topic, off topic of what I don't know where you're going right now. But I agreed with you in the last, it should have been easier for him to get a copy of the story.
Yeah.
That part
yeah.
I was like, maybe not at the local library. I feel like the local library would have a section for him, like you guys talked about. He really doesn't have a copy. I know he doesn't live there all the time. It is his second house. There's got to be things that writers have in place that they can easily disprove and prove the date of something because it's been published publicly and then republished. Like, I feel like his publisher should be able to have sent some sort of verification to Shooter. Not that Shooter was really taking anything. Obviously, they never gave him, Mort couldn't give himself the magazine with the story in it because the whole point, that wasn't the point. But like, it was like days and days. I'm like, I'm sure you could have gotten a copy before, pre-internet.
Right.
Yeah, but he's sleeping half the day and murdering folks the other day.
Yeah, that's another. He's sleeping a little bit too much. That was like I think that's one of the giveaways. That's the foreshadowing. He sleeps so much. The story being a little bit better than his. I feel like that's foreshadowing. But you would only see it going back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you take notes, Jess?
I took some notes. They're so messy. They're not anything like your notes.
Feel free to bring them up and we'll weave it in.
Oh, agree with Jonathan. It should have been easier to get a copy. There's that note. His paranoia that I think the other foreshadowing was his paranoia that he did steal it and how every story he wrote, he felt like he was stealing. He said it was from, that well of ideas that we all, drink from, the story ideas. We all are telling different versions of the same story. We all use elements like the Fight Club similarities between Secret Garden. That's the title of the book. Secret.
Yeah, Windows first.
Garden. Secret Garden. Okay.
We say it wrong throughout the first episode too. It's just.
It sounds like it should be Secret Garden, Secret Window. I don't know why. That we all like have the same ideas. It seemed like it was like a bigger deal. He really it really bothered him because he knew he had done it before. That he was so paranoid that he did steal the story, and it wasn't just from the the well of ideas, because he didn't just steal from the well of ideas. He stole someone's literal story, and that the story, the other foreshadowing is that the story was unlike anything else he had written.
True.
Because they said, even Shooter was like, it doesn't. People had said it didn't fit with the other stories. The publisher had said it, I think, or was it Amy? Publisher or Amy had said it didn't fit with other stories. And then John Shooter was like, it wasn't like any of your other stories, because he was reading it on the bus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that struck me as odd in world that Shooter would say, hey, I came here in a bus and I bought one of your crappy paper books in like a little book stand in some truck stop, meaning that this guy is a popular writer.
Yeah.
His books are everywhere. It's not like he is a Dostoevsky or somebody who is studied in literary classes. His books are literally next to a stand at a gas station.
Yeah, like would be at an airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's internal self-critique too, or self-doubt or self-hatred, whatever it is. In Mort's head, the fact that he made that up through Shooter, that his books are just pretty much, trash. Now, there's some good books at truck stop book stands or at airport stands. They don't have just crappy, popular books. They have a lot of other books that people flock to or buy often because, for whatever reason, anything from that to biographies. I've seen famous authors who are like historians and biographers. I've seen those books in airport stands too. So it's a range of books you find in those situations. But for Mort as a writer to create that his book was at some truck stop in dog shit Indiana or whatever Shooter came from, Mississippi, that I think is a little bit of self-critique, internal self-critique. I don't know if that's exactly the right term for it, but it seems that way. He's isolated. He has this guilt. He has this desire for revenge. against Amy and her lover, but at the same time, he understands why Amy left. So it's like a pod boiling over inside of good old Mort.
Yeah, it's been self-punishment
Yes.
for
Yes.
everything he did wrong.
Let's talk a little bit about isolation. It's not presented as a central theme, although it's talked about by the other characters. And so we get the sense, yes, Mort is isolated and he's self-isolated. And I guess it's irrelevant whether it's fleshed out well to my desires. But the point is, it's there. Would you agree with this statement? His isolation, him being in this secluded cabin, reflects his own internal struggle, his own psychological isolation?
Yes, I think, if I understand the question.
Him as a character in the book, he is isolated. He's placed into this cabin far away from everybody.
No. I do get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
How he's, he's isolated by the secret too, his lifelong secret, and that he bases his whole life off of. And and then he's completely secluded and has like no friends and no ties to the outside world, which also allows any of this to go on. Because
absolutely.
if he had a son, they had a kid they had partial custody of, this wouldn't be the same story.
It would take longer for him to go insane, probably. Because he'd have to take care of the kid, feed the kid.
Or it'd be way worse, way more gruesome.
Actually, that's actually true. Instead of feeding the kid, he, maybe stabs the kid or kills the kid, and then the kid is missing, or he creates a story around that.
Or does bump. That's what he does to bump to the kid.
Yeah. Or the kid reminds him of what he lost with Amy, and he takes out his anger on the kid somehow.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Like Shallan's father.
Like good old Lynn.
I do feel a little bad for the people he does kill because they're so barely involved. They're barely involved, and then he kills them.
Yeah.
I actually think him having a kid would have made him not descend into madness. Similar to the point that you made earlier, Jess, because it requires you to have some sort of routine because you have to keep the child alive.
With a kid, you don't get to always think about yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're, which is good because you don't dwell on the things that you don't get to indulge the madness. That's a thing. Like every time I feel crazy, I tell myself, this is so dumb. I tell myself, don't lean into it. Cause it's like, there's like a point where you can go back from getting too depressed or, I get like a very obsessive and, or depressed. And I'm like, don't do things that, make it worse. And one is isolating. It's like when I go out of my way to not talk to people, I usually get worse. And it's just like, I'm just short with everybody. I can even be a little mean to my friends just to, because it gets you that space. But isolation and going crazy go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's reflected in so many other stories where people are alone and they go mad, or they are mad and they seek isolation because of the madness.
And writing such a lonely, it is a very solitary, lonely
100%
thing. Yeah. What kind of writer is Mort, though? Is he? I can't remember. He's not a horror, like that. That story was different than his other. So I'm guessing his other stories are not horror related.
Right.
Can they even tell us what kind of writer he is?
I think he's just a fiction writer.
Okay.
Those kind of details often slip away from me.
I'd like to know. That whole thing, like Jonathan's always like a little bit more. Like we could have had a little bit more.
We could look it up. I have the Kindle book here.
The Organ Grinder's Son or something is the name of his book. Something funny.
That sounds like a horror.
It does, but I might be saying it wrong. I don't know if I'm saying the title right.
I'm trying to look through the first pages of the Kindle book. I don't know if we get any specifics about what kind of writer he is. The titles seem psychological thriller, horror-esque to me.
He has to be. He's famous, and I don't know if he's like a serial writer, because I don't think he has that many books. They say he doesn't have that many published books.
Yeah, I thought it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then the short story. No, he has novels. No, I think the Organ Grinder. That's his most famous novel. But what about the thing that he got in trouble for, the Delacourt family one, where they accused him of plagiarism, but then it wasn't plagiarism?
Are you talking about in real life?
No.
No, in the book, too.
In the book, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. No, he was accused of plagiarism like 1,000,000 times. I didn't realize how many times. I don't know if you wanted to go over that.
We should.
Yeah, King.
It was like a lot.
We only briefly touched on it last time, so I think going over it would be good.
I watched that video you sent me, the guy with the hat on.
He was trying to be a shooter.
Shooter, yeah. He looked like him. Oh, in the movie, though, it's Irving from Severance that plays Shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a good job. So.
John Turturro.
Yeah, that's his last name. I love that guy. It took me like a minute to even realize it was him because I rewatched it, this week.
He's in Severance.
Yeah. Did you watch Severance, Jonathan?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Haven't seen it.
You gotta, so.
That's Apple, isn't it?
Yep. And the show From, if you have MGM. I feel like
I don't
From,
have either of those.
Well, no one has MGM. I've never even heard of MGM until my friend told me to watch the show From. It's so good.
What's the premise?
It's an old sounding story. It's a story about people who can't get out of a town. It's like inescapable for reasons. But like it's really good and it's not tired. Even though like there's monsters, it's not just a plain monster. It's very interesting. And it has that actor, and I can't remember his name, that I like in it. So I would definitely recommend it. And there's 3 seasons. It's gonna be like a year before the next season comes out, so I'm depressed about that. Not for real, but you know what I mean? I hate waiting because now that Severance is over, then I had From to replace it. Now I have nothing. I'm gonna have to read
Back
some
to
more
the books with you.
Yeah, I know.
Back to the
Yeah,
books.
because that definitely distracts me from reading TV.
Did you ever watch The Haunting of Hill House?
No, is it on Netflix?
Yeah, I just started it last night.
I've read the book.
It's from
and
like
I don't know
2018. That was going to be my follow-up if you've read the book.
Oh,
I haven't read
love
the book.
Have you guys read Shirley Jackson
No.
at all?
Mm-mm.
You haven't, Slava? You would love Shirley Jackson because it's like horror.
I don't think I have.
I brought her up before at a podcast. We Have Always Lived in the Castle.
Sounds like a ghost story.
They did a movie on it. The movie's not as good. Shy got mad because Shy liked the book a lot. But remember, Mary Cat was stolen. Mary, whatever the girl's name is, Mary, was stolen from Mary Cat. That's why I was like, oh, I know the whole story. Like at the second page, I know the whole story because they're doing a blatant reference or allusion, whatever they call allusion to the
Homage,
original work. Yeah,
think.
way too much of an homage. Just ruins that. It was too much The Exorcist. That just was a person who put a bunch of really good work together and made it bad work. Oh, but you guys, if you guys want to do a Shirley Jackson book, I'm definitely into that.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the
The
first recommendation?
The Haunting of Hill House is really good. I haven't read
that's
that
her.
in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I brought her up. I stole but I stole it from the library, the local library. But I don't think they have it on my record. Like I think I can still go and open a library card. It would be like on my father owes them like $50 million for that book. I still have.
Yeah.
them
Did they ever cap library fines?
I stole it when I was like
interesting.
12. I'm almost
what if you
37 and a
steal
half.
it because you moved, because your parents had to work? Like, I'm just curious. Any
Well-
librarians out there? You got the inside scoop? 10 cents a day and then, capped at $50 or something like that?
Did you read the next story in this book, the anthology?
Not yet.
The library policeman? Yeah.
That's coming up
That's
later
what
this
happens
season.
when you don't turn your books in.
Oh, that's about that.
Yeah, it didn't happen to me though.
Oh.
I'm fine.
The book police, like
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, no, I like that one. That's the modern day. That's the modern day version of that too. Well, that's just not that modern. That's old too.
Did you find it, Slava?
I think so. I asked Google to summarize the video that I sent to Jess, and there seems to be 6 times King was accused of plagiarism. I know for sure one was for Misery, and one was for The Body. Those I remember distinctly from just me being alive in the world and keeping up with Stephen King.
Was it stealing? Was it plagiarism as in he stole their life? Like he was the guy with the bomb was accusing him of stealing the life story of his aunt?
Yes.
So was he ever accused of stealing like an actual story, the writing?
So there was 2 accusations about Misery, if I remember correctly. I could be getting this wrong. Audience, correct me. But there was the guy who said, you stole my aunt's story when you wrote Misery. And there was a woman who said that he literally stole this idea from her about Misery. And for The Body, I think it was like a former acquaintance said, hey, that was my story. Like, we talked about it, and I pitched this idea to you.
Oh,
But all that is from the memory banks of my feeble mind. So take that with a grain of salt. Those are what I remember, and that's what popped up in my search. But I need to probably need to do a better prompt for the search, so I'm not lying to the audience.
They're gonna come hunt you down.
I heard it was also for I think the Watchtower series.
Yeah,
Or
the Dark
main
Tower.
Dark Tower
series. Yeah, there was
Dark
a guy
Tower.
who sued him for the Dark Tower series too. And that was a recent one. That was into like the aughts, I think, or something. It wasn't in the 2020s. It was earlier.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, some of them were really recent. But if you write that many, I feel like you write that many books, you're gonna have a lot of people. Then being that famous is gonna bring out a bunch of crazy people because I think he has a lot of crazy fans. Obviously.
Yeah.
I'd say that sounds right. But this provokes a question, like, and you brought this up earlier a little bit. At what point is it just part of the creative ether that both people are tapping into because we live in the same world? And at some
Yeah.
point, we're going to both be taking in the same sensory input from the stuff that's happening around us. Like, at what point is that the case?
And we both might want to, let's say we wanted to write the same book and like we had the same idea for the book and we both had the same like love for a certain style of writing. So like our characters would be described in a more similar fashion. If it was like
Right.
very minimalist, and then the dialogue would be influenced by that. So we could end up with a very, very similar story.
Yeah. Yeah, like what's the line on something like that? Do you guys know, or is it
No,
just
I think
all
you know
speculation?
it's kind of like that the pornography thing. You know it when you see it. You know it's plagiarism.
Is that
when
what
you
they
see
say?
it. That's what they say. Oh, that's what didn't they say that in the Supreme Court case for pornography? Am I just making that up? I know they say that I know pornography when I see it versus art.
Seems like a poor description.
I could be mixing a couple of things.
No, it
together.
makes sense because if you see an art piece from the the Renaissance and it's
Nudity.
a bare-chested woman and there's nudity, that's not pornography. If you see a Playboy spread, it's pornography.
But then there's like lying.
Yeah, without even knowing that it's from a Playboy spread, if somebody showed you a nude art piece and somebody showed you a woman posing for a porn mag, you'd know the difference.
But then there's
Yeah.
the gray line people who insist something's art, but it's like, that seems a little too sexual to be art. Or like certain like nude erotic photography.
It's a slippery slope, though,
Yeah.
Slava. Like, I understand what you're saying, but it's a slippery slope to not have a clear definition.
A plagiarism.
And it's important to work out the friction of a clear definition of something, I mean, that's kind of a very flashy topic, pun intended, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, if said piece is older than 200 years and there's nudity, then statistically probably not pornography.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you went to the early 1900s, let's say 100 years ago, so like 1920 and earlier, where they had, gentlemen's clubs where the women were scandalous in the time period, right? They weren't going to be fully nude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think you'd still probably classify that as pornography for the time period. So
Yeah.
I just think that being like, well, I'll know it when I see it is a very slippery slope to call the definition in the court of law.
Well, for plagiarism, it would be hard because you heard it with the songs. I feel like it was Creep, the song Creep. Someone had said someone had stolen that. Like a lot of songs sound similar. And I don't know where you draw the line of music. I definitely wouldn't know. Writing, I feel like I'd be able to see it more easily. Like the Fight Club and Secret Garden. Like you can see how they're so similar yet so different. The execution and the way how the story's told is a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it was clearly plagiarism with the story for John Shooter and Mort Rainey. Because they were the same story, just phrased differently. And I just thought John Shooter's phrasing was better writing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd imagine for somebody like King, who has been accused a handful of times, I assume it is difficult for him to maybe trust people who come to him and say, hey, can you read my manuscript? Because writers get that crap all the time.
I think he purposely doesn't read manuscripts for that reason. I feel like he says that on his website. I read it somewhere. Or maybe On Writing, the book On Writing, because I did read that.
Yeah, so did I.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good book.
He said, I think also he doesn't want to be influenced by someone's manuscript.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that's a
seems
big
fair.
thing. We're so easily influenced by others, and you can see it in like language and how we speak. A lot of like little kids talk, like it's sad when you see little kids talking like they spend too much time online.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just we're easily socially influenced by things. And that's part of why I can be picky about what I read, is I don't want to be influenced by certain things. So I try not to consume too much like trash or like junk, the intellectual equivalent of junk food.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's why I won't like, I'm sure I could get sucked into, I'm capable of watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians if that's still a show, but I don't want to. And I don't want to be influenced by that family, which has a very pervasive, influence on culture. So I avoid it.
Yeah. I avoid most reality TV for that same reason. As much as I like brain rot and I'll watch, reels or memes with
silly.
Some of them are just silly or out of pocket nonsense. Stuff like Catching Up with the Kardashians or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Or most reality TV shows, there's a level of degeneracy in them.
Yep.
That's not like full blown pornography, but it's just this underlying kind of subtle, pervasive degeneracy that slowly seeps in, and then you're desensitized to it. And that's what I don't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a pluralist where I wouldn't want to sanction or censor them.
Yeah, same.
But at the same time, if most of us, meaning the populace, would say, nah, I don't want to watch that, not even for the vibes or the lulls, and stop, then they wouldn't make that because it's a consumer society we live in. They're popular because people gobbled that up. I'm not better than anybody for not gobbling that up, but I think it's trash.
Didn't you say Stephen King said, like when I read Faulkner, I wrote like Faulkner, or
Yes.
I might be paraphrasing that. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I think that
yeah.
too. So like I try to read things that I would, aspire to.
Yeah, he said that in an interview or maybe a lecture at UMass. He said, when I read Faulkner, I sounded like Faulkner. When I consumed a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of my work sounded like H.P. Lovecraft. And he was saying that as an encouragement to young writers who are trying to find their voice. And he said, you will eventually find your voice if you continue to write daily and exercise this muscle. Now, I'm paraphrasing him. But you will sound like the writers that you consume. My short story, which we've discussed numerous times on this podcast that is, in book purgatory on my computer, there's parts of it that sound like Stephen King, and I went back and tried to rewrite them because I don't want to sound like Stephen King, even though I like Stephen King. I don't want to sound like me. But it's a horror story, and one thing that I do want to, quote-unquote, steal from Stephen King is the ability to merge past and present. The way he goes from past to present sometimes and tells a backstory, then gets back right into the present time. He does it here, he does it in it, he does it all over the place. That I want to emulate. But the cadence of certain things, dialogue, action, I don't want to sound like Stephen King. I want to sound like myself.
Especially the dialogue. The dialogue.
Yeah.
I like the seamlessness, I think that you're talking about, Slava, with like time travel in a sense.
Yep.
I love that by him. I do not love the dialogue, and I do feel like a lot of times it's the same. I'm stuck in the same dude's head. I wrote that in my notes.
Yep.
I'm in the same dude's head, and Stephen King has a very specific voice and dialogue, and it's in all his stuff. I don't even know what to call it. It's just very Stephen King dialogue, and it sounds a little bit old fashioned to me. I think
It does.
because it's him, and he's getting older, and he's old fashioned now.
Michael Crichton's the same way, and John Grisham, all three of them are popular writers.
Mm-hmm.
And they admit it, so this is not a knock on them, and they are where they are. They all have what you're talking about, a cadence to it, a sound to the dialogue, a flow to the action. They all have their own way of doing things. If you read The Firm by Grisham, and then you read A Time to Kill, which is an earlier work, and then you read, I think The Client is the next book I read. I think those are the three Grisham books I read. They all sound alike. If you read a Michael Crichton book, I read Jurassic Park, The Andromeda Strain, Congo, Sphere. They all have a particular pace to them. And I don't know what the right word for it is. I've used 4 different words to describe it, but whatever you're talking about, Jess, there's a voice to an author. And Stephen King has his.
I mean, I think all authors do.
Sure.
I mean, there's some that change so much that like once you read like a really good book and you're looking for something else kind of like it,
Yeah.
So you go to the other book, like how I read all those Philip Roth books in
Yeah.
a row, and then I got like, kind of burnt out on Philip Roth. But like, so my favorite, what you put on, I think the website as one of my favorite books is Jesus' Son by Dennis Johnson. He has passed away, I believe. I believe he's passed away. I always wanted another book like that, but his other books aren't written like that at all. Like he has other good work for sure. So I'm glad I discovered him. But like I want another book like that, and it doesn't exist. If you can stand the way that the writer writes, then it's not a horrible thing that they have a repeat sort of, their voice, their thing, their style that I don't even know if he can change if he wanted to, and it's in the dialogue. But yeah, it's not something there's aspects that, you admire of him, but that one, specifically the dialogue, is not one I'd want to emulate. Just like I wouldn't want to write in a hyper, what is it? Like the way people write. I've read it in books that were free on Kindle Unlimited where they talk very slangy, like, a Gen Z kid in high school. I'm like, I wouldn't, like, let's not write like that. Like, and using emojis in a book.
Gag me.
That shouldn't be allowed.
Like, if you're writing a Gen Z character and you give him Gen Z slang to say in the book, that's fine because that's how people talk, or maybe you're writing a particular kind of character. But if it's not woven together well, it becomes, kitsch. Like, okay.
Like, we get it. Yeah. It would get annoying.
For example, if King wrote a book based in the 1980s about adventures of a high school kid, and that kid happened to like the Ninja Turtles, and every other page was a reference to the Turtles, or he said cowabunga, or eat my shorts, which is a Simpsons reference, actually. But if he did that, that would be bad writing on King's part. Like, he does have slang and words and even, manners of speech that are in line with the timeline of the book. And he grew up during the, 50s, 60s. So when he writes about the 60s, well, the 50s specifically in It, and the 60s in 11/22/63, it flows well. It makes sense because they use references and manners of speech that were around during those decades, that were popular, slang and all that stuff. But emojis and just a run-on sentence of Gen Z or Gen X, or pick your generation, that's just awful and bad writing. Like my sentence there.
Plus, no one will get it. Some people might not understand it in 50 years.
Right.
I'll say something and my daughter will be like, no one says that anymore. I'm like, I heard it last week. Someone says it still. But she'll act like I'm so behind the times for something I just learned, because there's so much slang now.
We've gotten pretty off track here, folks.
Off track only slightly, if we're going to be a casual book club. One hell of a side quest, I'll admit. But let's see how we can get back.
I mean, if you feel like it's on topic, then more power to us. It just doesn't...
Well, we're talking about plagiarism. We're talking about style of writing. We're talking about voice. It seems we're not discussing, the intricacies of Mort's descent into madness. You can bring us back into something you want to talk about, and we'll go with that.
Just the link that I sent you is the only stuff that I've really got for themes and things like that. Hey, it's dangerous to go alone. So don't. You should always side quest with friends. Hit that subscribe button and join the party.
All right. Well, let's jump back into the story real quick, and specifically the ending. Jess, this question is for you first, and then Jonathan second. You said something before we started recording, Jess, based on the notes we shared, is that King's narrative makes you question what's real until the very end. And, something about trusting your own mind. I want to take that as a segue into discussing the ending. So, based on the epilogue, we see that Shooter was somehow manifested into reality by Mort. Mort's shot, he's dead, he's been buried, whatever. He's dead now. And we get a glimpse through Amy into, not a glimpse, we get a clue from Amy that Shooter actually exists because he writes her a note. Now, it could be argued that Moore did it preemptively in his maddened state, but let's assume that Shooter is now real. Do you love it? Do you hate it?
So far, right now, I like the ending. I feel like at first I didn't love it, a ghost ending. I didn't love the idea of that. I think they kind of set it up with how Amy sort of has the psychic power. She has some sort of gift to pick up on things. I don't know if that's to show because it's Shooter and not Morty leaving the little notes and how he's become a real person. But did he overtake? He kind of won in a sense. I kind of feel like I don't know if that's the point of the ending, with having the note from Shooter, the hat from Shooter showing up.
Yeah, I think you're right about Shooter winning, because that is clear when Mort goes insane and tries to kill Amy.
Because Shooter is real in a sense, even if he doesn't become a ghost, because it became a split personality. So, yeah, Shooter's not a real separate person from Mort, but he's definitely a real person that carried out, Mort's deepest, probably deepest desires to destroy his life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like the supernatural ending. It makes it different. So I think that's what I like about it.
I don't hate it. I wasn't blown away by it, like, oh my gosh, Shooter's real and now he's going to be a ghost / manifestation or something. I wasn't blown away by it, but I liked it. It was a decent ending.
They could have done it. When you said that, it made me think, they didn't do it in a way that kind of left you with an eerie, uncanny, that feeling. That would have been cool, though, had he done it in a way to make it like a final creep out and leave on that note. But it didn't really. It was kind of like a nice, and it almost felt like a nice wrap up for Amy in a way, despite it being Shooter. I don't know.
Yeah, and the fact that Amy and the insurance adjuster both wake up with nightmares sometimes, that was kind of creepy, but still wasn't creepy enough for me.
Yeah. They went through a traumatic event. So, people have nightmares after that. That doesn't mean supernaturally scared. I mean, the way we think of spiritual, warfare, nightmares are a part of it. But most people, nightmares, that's just a trauma sign and it passes after a while.
I would almost say that it's horror light because it's kind of, not as intricate or deep as we've read in other books. It would be the type of story I'd give someone who's like, maybe I like horror, and you just start with something like this where it's 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 not too much for them, but it's just gets the questioning happening, right?
Yeah, it's more of a suspenseful story than
that's a better
outright
way to
horror.
put it.
Yeah, psychological thriller. It's definitely I'm sure the movie is considered psychological thriller, rather than horror.
Yeah, like Silence of the Lambs, I would consider a psychological thriller, not horror.
Oh, it's a perfect movie.
Yeah. Conjuring, that's horror.
Yeah.
Right? Exorcist, horror.
Yeah.
With psychological, elements in it. But yeah, this is definitely a psychological thriller with a sprinkling of horror and supernatural. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
More so in my second reread, knowing what's coming and just enjoying the story King is trying to weave.
I appreciated the writing more after I read it and saw where the story was going. And then that's when I saw the other stuff, like the foreshadowing. So yeah, definitely. My first impression was not as nearly as good as the second time around. And then, the third time.
So each time you read it, it's more enjoyable? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes. I don't know if I'll reread it again. Maybe. I don't know. Because I'm rereading The Library Policeman. And then I've never read the final story in the book. I can't remember the name of The Sundog.
The Sundog, yep.
Yeah, I haven't read that one.
Yeah, neither have I.
But I feel like this one, out of all of them so far, because I'm almost done with The Library Police, I see this being as the strongest one without reading the fourth one at all. It seems like it's the strongest story in the series.
Compared to, because I'm reading each of these for the first time, I think I like Langoliers better at the moment than this. And if you were to ask me why, I'd probably say the Langoliers felt more like King so far to me. This was just there was both not enough madness and not enough plot points. I was gonna say action, but I think plot points makes more sense. Where it's almost like slice of life meets slow burn for me. Whereas Langoliers, you're constantly moving through it. So at the moment, Langoliers is my favorite. This is my second favorite. We'll see how the other two shake out.
Yeah, it's very internal. Like I said, it's a very internal story.
Mm-hmm.
So the struggle is all in his head, and like I said though, I liked being in his head.
I also like Langoliers better because it was a little bit more creepy. I read a lot of short stories by King. Mist, a bunch of stuff from Nightmares and Dreamscapes, like Logan's Cadillac. All those stand out as better, more creepy, or more psychologically tintillating in the sense that there's more tension in the story and they're a little bit longer. So the reveal in The Mist, for example, is a great reveal. There's a great twist, and it's not a one-to-one at all, but it's dragged out, and the ending, it leaves you like, oh, whoa, okay. But
Right.
here's like, okay, he's a ghost, and I think that's kind of cool. The manifestation of a character from a guy's head into the real world, that's kind of creepy. Okay, and I buy it. I'm not hating on it. I'm there for it. But they're okay stories. You know, I won't read this one again, probably. I'll read the Langoliers again if I ever, feel bored and a nudge for a good Stephen King short story.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't read the other two, so I don't know. The other two might blow
I
Langoliers
thought you
out of the
read-
water.
I thought you read all 4 of them.
No.
Oh.
No, Langoliers, I think I started it a couple times, never finished it, and then I read it fully through, all the way through, for our recording. Now, I read this twice now because, I read them since we started recording, but the other two, I haven't. But Langoliers and Secret, let me say it the right way, Secret Window, Secret Garden, this is my second time reading it.
Womp womp.
And you just got the title right.
Yep.
It only took a few tries.
Yeah, we'll forget it after too.
Yeah, well, even the guy who did the recap video for it and talked about all the plagiarism cases against King, he even gets it wrong in the video.
It's
And
hard,
he even,
yeah.
And he even says it. He's like, crap, I'm saying it wrong again. So,
Secret Window, Secret Garden, right?
Secret Window, Secret Garden.
Yeah. The way that I remember it is he talks about the window first in the story and then looking out into the garden.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
it's like you're here, then you're looking.
I should just remember Secret Window because I watched the movie first, and Secret Window is just the name of the movie. You think that would stick in my stupid head, but it doesn't.
Well, even King's inspiration, we read the blurb that he
Mhm.
writes in the book and on his website. The blurb that talks about the short story gives the reader an insight into how he came up with it. Even he says there, I noticed a window, and then I noticed a garden. And the garden was being built by his wife at that time, so there was no garden there. But he notices this window in his laundry room. He's like, oh, it's a window. What's outside? Oh, it's my wife building a garden. And so in the order of inspiration, in the order of the story, the movie, everything else, we should be able to figure out that it's Secret Window, Secret Garden. But my brain goes, meh, and that's it.
Nice.
Well, I think that brings us to not only the end of the book, but the end of this episode. Jess, you said you watched the movie. Let's end it here. So there's a movie adaptation, as there is with many King works. How does it stack up to the short story, and what about the ending of the movie? Is it better, good, bad?
Completely different. It might be more unsettling because he kind of seems to have embraced the shooter. I don't know if they integrate each other, but he doesn't die. Mort doesn't die, which is a big part of it. Amy and Ted die from
Okay.
shooter/Mort. I'm assuming he's buried them in the garden. He hasn't gotten caught, despite he's killed 4 people. I think it's at least 4 people. Fred Evans isn't one of them. The guy who shoots him in the book, or short story, novella, whatever we're calling it. But no, he ends with him like he gets braces for some reason, and he's being creepy to the people in the town who don't like him. They no longer like him as the writer because he's been accused of all this stuff and no one's been able to prove it yet. And he's eating corn because he's like obsessed with corn on the cob now. He's just buying sticks of butter and those little things and a pack of napkins. He's going to go crazy on this corn that he's, I'm assuming he's growing out of Ted and his Ted and Amy. He's eating corn that he's grown from the soil that they're fertilizing.
So I pulled up the Wikipedia plot of the movie, After the persona takes full control of Mort, Amy arrives at the cabin, finding it ransacked, and sees the word shooter carved repeatedly on the walls and the furniture. Mort appears, wearing Shooter's hat and speaking and acting like him. Amy realizes the name Shooter represents Mort's desire to shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
He chases Amy and stabs her in the leg, kind of like the book. Ted, looking for Amy, arrives and is ambushed by Mort, who kills him with a shovel. Amy watches helplessly as Mort bludgeons Ted and then approaches her while reciting the ending of the in-world story, Sowing Season. Months later, Mort has recovered from his writer's block, just with a little bit of murder, and his passion for life has returned. He is feared and shunned in town because of the rumors about the missing people associated with him. Sheriff Newsom arrives and tells Mort that he is the prime suspect in the supposed murders and the bodies will eventually be found. Newsom says that Mort is no longer welcome in town. Mort passively dismisses the threat and tells Newsom that the ending to his new story is perfect. It is implied that Amy and Ted's bodies are buried underneath the corn grown in Mort's garden, allowing Mort to gradually eliminate any evidence of the murders. Now, there's an alternative ending, which was included in home media release, which means DVD, explicitly showing both Ted's and Amy's dead bodies underneath the corn patch.
So I feel like the ending's more Stephen King-like than Stephen King's ending. And it's acted out well because it's Johnny Depp doing it. So he's creepy with his braces and a smile and then the corn. It's a good image.
Does he have corn in the braces?
No, I thought you couldn't eat corn on the cob with braces, though.
Yeah,
I hate
tough.
corn on the cob. I've told you that. I don't like corn on the cob. But yeah.
Oh, good.
No.
We bought corn on the cob for lunch.
I've told you before I don't like corn.
Well, you told my other personality.
You
I
forgot.
But no, we're gonna take it off the cob. Do you hate corn altogether, or just? On the cob?
I'm not a huge fan of corn. I'll eat corn. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
If it's mixed in things, it happens.
Yeah. Well, we're making tacos, and it's gonna be like a corn aioli thing for the tacos.
Okay.
Elote?
I've seen that'll be
Yes.
fine because that's when I do end up eating corn. It's because it's in Mexican stuff or Mexican food or something. Very cool.
It's from my garden,
You do not have a garden.
and my wife is alive.
Yeah.
You saw
I've seen her. I
apparition.
saw her. I can say I've seen her. Seen her today.
Well, Jonathan, any final thoughts for us as we drive off to the horizon?
I would say if you cheat on your lover, move to a different state.
That's good advice.
Thanks, Jess.
That's
I
good
appreciate the
advice.
validation.
Don't dwell on the past. Don't dwell on the past. Don't take naps and think about it.
That's right. Burn it down and move forward.
Yeah, burn it down.
That's right.
Figuratively
Figuratively.
and
right.
move forward. Get some new friends.
I think Shooter wrote in a different manuscript that Jonathan thought that a woman who would steal your love when your love was really all you had was not much of a woman. He therefore decided to move to a different state and not kill her. That was an alternative.
That's a
ending.
healthy ending.
That's the healthy ending, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for letting me know how my story ends.
That's like be the censored version of the book.
Blessed.
Nick at Night version.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all, folks. Some people aren't going to get that.
I got it. I got that one.
Our audience is over 25 primarily. They're going to get that, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Porky Pig. Porky
We'll
the
see you
Pig.
next.
Roxy says goodbye.
We'll see you next time, folks.
Isn't she our lawyer?
She's our lawyer. She's legal.
Legal team. She's our legal team. Uh-oh. I have a favor to ask you. If you like what we're doing, the simplest way to support the show is to hit subscribe. In return, we'll keep leveling up, we'll listen to your feedback, and read authors that you suggest. And of course, we'll take side quests along the way.